Now at noon, the latest details and lingering questions surrounding a stabbing incident in Portland that resulted in a multi-hour standoff, plus a sign of progress in Central Oregon, where hundreds of firefighters are trying to get the flat fire under control. Also, the latest warning from Oregon's chief economist following the passage of a federal budget bill.
Has this been building up from policies set forward here in Oregon?
And the local reaction to a former Oregon representative calling on the Trump administration to crack down on Portland. Thank you for joining us at noon. I'm China Green. We start the show with the event that we've been building up to for the last month, the KGW Parade of School Supplies. That's where we find Drew Carney alongside volunteers packing up all those supplies that you donated, Drew.
China, I may have a little sunburn on tomorrow's Sunrise show because I'm directly under the sun here this afternoon, right outside our studios as we celebrate this year's Parade of Supplies. Our friends from On Point just showed up. I'm going to pop the trunk, gang, and let you get to those supplies. So basically, today's Parade of Supplies is, again, a celebration and a culmination of a month's worth of giving and donations. All of our viewers stepping up once again this year to make sure that thousands of kids in the area go back to school with all the supplies they need. On Point has been such a terrific partner in this effort for the last decade plus, and we thank them again this year for stepping up and making sure that this year's drive is a success. This car is empty, but there's more coming. All throughout the afternoon, people showing up with those collections and with those donations that you, our viewers, gave over the last 4 weeks. We're sorting through them in our lobby. We're making sure they get into the hands of local teachers and students as we kick off this school year. Coming up throughout the course of the hour here at China, we're going to have much more on this year's effort, much more on this year's drive. We'll talk to some of our partners and friends, but that's it for the start. We'll have a lot more later.
Thank you, Drew. We'll get back with you in just a few minutes. First, let's get to meteorologist Rod Hill now with a look at our weather.
Well, the weather's great, right? Sometimes we have these parades and the weather's not so great, but this time around, as Drew mentioned, we have sunny skies. You know, we had thunderstorms the last, 2.5 days at times in our region tied to this low. Well, yesterday this low was boom, right on top of us. But today it's clearly moved and continues to move slightly up to the north, and it's taken the rain chance with it. The only thing I've been watching on radar is to our northern fringes of our viewing area. There's a little bit of light rain picking up, and that's even pretty much north of Castle Rock. So I think that's up in Lewis County, which would be north of our region. But you folks up to the north, picking up more cloudiness inland than we are down here in Portland. Our coast still hasn't cleared out, still believing there will be at least some sunny areas, partially this afternoon pickup. That's Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. 59 there. Our inland temperature in Portland in the mid-70s. Very, very pleasant indeed. We'll jump up into the 80s. We could go as warm as 89, which would equal yesterday's high temperature. And then a reminder, at 8 o'clock, the sun's now down. 7:55 sunset will be about 82. I have made some tweaks to your Labor Day holiday weekend forecast. We'll have that for you coming up. Back to you, China.
Thank you, Rod. And now at noon, roads in Vancouver are opening back up after a deadly crash this morning. This happened just after 4:15 near Northeast 20th Avenue and 144th Street. The Clark County Sheriff's Office says a truck and a sedan crashed into each other, killing one person. The Sheriff's Office is investigating this as a homicide. They believe alcohol played a role in the crash. New information today following a stabbing that turned into a standoff lasting several hours. Portland police have identified the suspect as 38-year-old Victor Palmer-Regan. After being treated at a local hospital, Palmer-Regan has been booked on charges including assault and criminal mischief. Surveillance video shows him pacing outside of officers surround his home. Police say that he stabbed 2 people, then hid inside a home for several hours before he eventually surrendered. The suspect's partner told us that he was having a mental health crisis.
Regardless of what, he's accused of or not, I'm here telling everybody and the police, that this is a crisis, and it's not his normal personality.
A neighbor says the suspect got into a confrontation with people living in tents on the street. We're working with police to confirm that. Meantime, a shooting in Multnomah County sends a woman to the hospital. This happened around 11:30 last night near the Buffalo Wild Wings in Wood Village. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office tells us that a woman was shot by a man she knew. That woman was taken to the hospital after being shot in the leg. Deputies are still working to arrest the suspect, but Gresham police have established a perimeter of where they believe the suspect is located. It's still unclear how the victim and suspect know each other or what led up to that shooting. To the latest on the flat fire burning northeast of Sisters. Officials say the fire is now 7% contained after burning more than 23,000 acres. About 2,300 homes remain under threat of flames, with nearly 1,400 people fighting that fire. Evacuation levels have been downgraded in several areas, and officials say homeowners returning to the area can expect to see firefighting activity, including smoke. Meantime, the Immigrant Fire continues to burn in Central Oregon, forcing campsite, hiking trail, and road closures in the Willamette National Forest. As of this morning, it's burned more than 9,000 acres and is 0% contained. Lightning sparked the fire on Sunday in a remote area southeast of Eugene, about 20 miles outside of Oak Ridge. You can find more details on those closures that we just mentioned on the Forest Service website. State economists project Oregon will lose nearly $900 million over the next 2 years. Alma McCarty explains why economists are making that prediction and why they say it's not a cause for immediate panic.
I would not view this as kind of a clarion call that we need action right now, per se, to address this. But this is telling you we potentially have a problem, and this will have to be dealt with over the course of the biennium.
That's the message Carl Riccadonna, chief economist for the state of Oregon, brought to the Legislative Committee on Finance and Revenue Wednesday morning. His team predicting that the tax cuts included in H.R. 1, or the Big Beautiful Bill, will significantly lower the income and corporate tax revenue the state takes in.
The impact is about $888 million. For this biennium. So there is a hole in the state budget, in the general fund balance that has to be adjusted based on these new developments.
This reduction in state funding, Democratic lawmakers fear, will hurt Oregonians. And they're pointing the finger at the president. Governor Tina Kotek stating more Oregon families are experiencing tougher financial situations, not by chance, but because of the economic uncertainty coming straight from the Trump administration. House Speaker Julie Fahey writing in part, today's revenue forecast confirms that Trump's economic policies are squeezing families and destabilizing our state budget. Republican lawmakers feeling differently about the tax cuts.
People will actually keep their own money. And what's crazy is the Democrats in Salem right now are saying that this is terrible.
Senate Republican leader Daniel Bonham saying Oregon's economic problems are homegrown.
The question really for Oregonians should be, was this something that literally just happened to the Oregon economy, or has this been building up from policies set forward here in Oregon?
And when it comes to the kicker, here's what state economists say Oregonians should expect.
Got a little bit smaller. Based on some disappointing tax revenues in the final months of the biennium. So there is a kicker. It's a little bit less than what it initially looked like, but the kicker will still be coming.
That was Alma McCarty reporting. It's important to note here that while the state will be getting nearly $900 million less, economists say that the money is essentially staying in the taxpayers' pocket. So this does not mean that the state economy is shrinking by $900 million. Meantime, local lawmakers are reacting to comments from Labor Secretary and former Oregon Congresswoman Lori Chavez DeRemer after she thanked President Donald Trump and the Attorney General at a cabinet meeting on Tuesday before calling for a crackdown in Portland.
Thank you for what you are doing with your agents on ICE, and thank you for the prosecution that I hope you will come to Portland, Oregon and crack down.
We have contacted Chavez DeRemer's office several times for comment, but we have not been provided anyone for an interview or offered additional details about the kind of crackdown that she's proposing. Senator Ron Wyden posted this on X saying, quote, "It's bad enough to flatter the boss as a requirement for employment, but it's even worse to sell your fellow Oregonians along the way." In Salem, 2,000 bags with personalized messages and tributes were placed at Riverfront Park as a tribute to the lives touched by cancer, as well as a call to fight the disease. The bags are part of the Lights of Hope Across America movement. Each bag honors a cancer survivor or someone who lost their life due to cancer. Organizer Kathy Otley lost her parents and sisters to 4 different types of cancer. She's also a 7-time survivor of skin cancer.
I love talking to people and hearing their stories. And the one thing I always share with everyone is it's so important to be screened. If you're not screened, we can't find cancer early and we don't have a better outcome.
Over the last year, she's raised more than $25,000 for cancer research. Her goal is to help end cancer.